Raps. We'll be talking to y'all. How y'all doing? Welcome back to the party. Y'all already know who I am. Seven Da Pantha, a.k.a. the Carolina Hurricane Ridiculous Slang, a.k.a. your baby mama's favorite rapper, and a whole lot of other stuff you should not call me if your knuckle game ain't ill, you dig? And of course, if you see me, you don't see either Mad Assassin or Mojo Barnes, you know what time it is. Side Barz, where we talk about nothing but the dope. And today, I am in St. Paul, Minnesota? That's where we at?
St. Paul, Minnesota.
St. Paul, Minnesota, absolutely. St. Paul, Minnesota. Last night was the first night of the Gravitas Tour. And of course, I'm here with the man that not only made the St. Paul and the Loose shows happen, but he's a pretty dope freaking artist of his own right. My man Tarli in the building. How you living, man?
What's up? I'm good, man. How you doing?
Doing good, bro. And salute to the tribe. While we at it, we'll get to that in a minute, though. But yeah. So, man, look, I had to ask you.
Yeah.
I got to ask you first and foremost, because it's the first thing I thought.
Yeah.
Tarli.
Yeah.
What is it?
So Tarli, so I gotta get, so the background story is I've gone through a bunch of name changes. There's a lot of artists, right? You know what I'm saying? When you start young, you got some wild name, and you start getting older, you're like, oh, that ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? that ain't gonna work, right? So before Tarli, I was LIB, right? So my first name's L. I'm from Liberia, right? So it's a double entendre, LIB from the LIB, right? That became a problem when you try to type me in on like social media, stuff like that, right? The underscores, the periods, how do we do that, right?
Absolutely.
So I went to LA, shot a bunch of music videos with the tribe, and my creative director was like, hey, listen, you got to change your name. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, she's like, I ain't gonna hold you. Like, you got to change it because it's difficult for people to find you. And I was like, okay, cool. So then, a couple options came up, and I was like, man, I don't know. And so my middle name's Tarli, right? But I've never gone as that, used that in my entire life, right?
Oh, wow.
And so it's funny because then I sat down and I was talking to my mom. I was like, Mom, like, y'all never call me Tarli. Like, what does it even mean? And so in her tribe, right, it means successful journey. This whole time it meant successful journey. I've been running from it, right? So she told me that, and I was like, okay, I gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the time. So that's why it's Tarli.
Man, successful journey. See?
Yeah.
And I'm just Seven Da Pantha. That's
No.
just wild, yo.
Yeah.
So I know you're not from here. You just said you're from Liberia. How long have you been in America?
Oh man, I came to the U.S. when I was like 3-4 years old. You know what I'm saying? So being out here is really all I know. No, right. So
I feel
yeah.
Do you ever get to go back? Have you been back?
No, that's the game plan, man. I'm trying to go back with my grandma. Have her show me like where she grew up at. You know what I'm saying? And get to the roots and all that stuff and check out the tribe. So yeah.
So how do you go from Liberian transplant to America to hip hop artist?
Man, it was a rocky journey because growing up, a lot of it was like, for those of you that have foreign parents, right? You got to either be a lawyer, a doctor, a surgeon, and depending on your faith, maybe a pastor, right?
Yeah.
And so I wasn't feeling any of those career paths because it just didn't fit my personality, right? And so one of my homies actually, homie George from Louisiana, he put me on to my first record. It was Thug Mentality 99.
Wow.
Right, Thug Mentality 99. And I listened to that and I was like, you got the head, the Walkmans or whatever. So we're listening to it and I'm like, man, this is good, but they cussing a lot. I gotta hide this. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get in trouble if they catch me with this. And so there was that. And then Busta Rhymes' Disaster Strikes. And that's when I fell in love with hip hop. I mean, at the time I wasn't making music, right? But I was just like, oh, this is dope. It was about middle school when I had a homie from Arizona come through and, he's like, oh, yeah, let's just freestyle, make music. And that's when I was like, okay, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? And so ever since then, it's been just like hip hop, music, like that the community is what keeps me, going.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of community, I did mention the tribe earlier.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, we're not gonna fast forward that far. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
So you start rapping. You realize, okay, yeah, I'm good at it. But at what point did you actually take the step to say, hey, I'm gonna go in the studio and record some music and put it out?
Good question. So we were messing around in my homie's basement and we made this song back then I was in a group called D-Mine, right? Which was called Diamond Mine, kind of like Diamond in the Rough type stuff. We're out in the suburbs, right? So no one was really expecting much out of us, right? I remember one of my favorite lines I'll never forget. I had a homie and he was in the industry and he found out that we rapped. And he's like, what y'all gonna rap about? Burgers, bagels, and caribou coffee? And I'm like, I looked at that dude and I was like, you know what? And it's kind of like a Jordan moment, like I'm gonna take that personally. And and ever since then, I'm doing my thing. And so the first song we ever recorded and put out was called Pass the Rock. And it was just this chant like, pass me the rock, homeboy, I'm hot. Hey, pass me the rock, homeboy, I'm hot. Hey, and it was just that, and then everybody jumps into their flow. You know what I mean? So it's almost like a cipher type chant before you jump in. And so
I love that.
we did that, and I mean that was back in high school. And that listen, I got people that still send me clips of like, hey man, I still listen to this, right? Yeah, to this day, it was crazy. And so that's when I was like, no, we can do this. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Like, to hell with Caribou and Brooklyn Bagels. We doing something. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't tell me we can't do this shit. So,
that's priceless,
so
yo. That is priceless. Oh my God. What y'all gonna rap about? Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out in a minute. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I know I told you last night, and I've said it to you several times, but your music is very, and I almost hate to use this word because they overuse it now, but it's very vibey, and I mean that in the best way possible. Like,
okay, appreciate it.
Like I said, I could literally not watch you perform and close my eyes, and I could still be in that same place. You know what I'm saying? That I am when I'm looking at you.
Yeah. Thank you. That is
means
an honor. Thank you.
So, like, as far as like when you're in the creative process,
yeah,
was that a conscious decision, or is that just kind of the way it evolved?
A little bit of both, right? So as I evolved as an artist, right, I went from party music to like being conscious, like, hey, what am I really trying to say, right? Because, you know, when you're younger, you're like, oh, we wilding out. But then I got older and I was like, what am I really trying to convey, right? Like, who do I want to be? I don't want to be this party dude as I get older, right? Because I feel like I have more substance. I have a story, right? The immigrant story, living between two worlds, all types of stuff. And so I wanted to make music to uplift. That being said, it was intentional. It became intentional. Like, hey man, like let's find beats that were able to, how do I say this? I don't want to commercialize it, but like beats that work with everything, right? I don't want to be stuck in, hey, he only makes trap. Hey, he only makes boom bap. Hey, he only makes, backpack stuff. So it's just really a carefully curated image, I guess. You know what I'm saying? With being intentional, being authentic, right? At the end of the day.
I'm glad you said that. I actually had a homie of mine. I interviewed him on the pod. Anthony Danza, what's up, bro? And Danza's he's a really dope artist. He has his whole aesthetic is like the 80s. You know what I'm saying? So he dresses, he wears the tracksuits, he wears the fat gold chain, sometimes had a Kango, the whole 9 yards. You know what I'm saying? All of the beats he makes, he samples 80s records. And like it's really a whole thing that he's created, you know what I'm saying? But I gotta say, I gave you your props last night, I'm gonna give them to you again. Tarli gotta be one of the best dressed MCs I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you.
Like the rest of us dress like we're still in high school. But Tarli dresses with a purpose. So you know. Now as far as that goes though, is that like have you always been like fashion conscious, or is it just kind of like as you've gotten older and I know that you were gonna be out like presenting to people?
That's a good question. No, it has been evolution. You know, I like to every year I like to just sit down with my whiteboard and be like, what do I try to accomplish, right? And so like, actually a couple years back, I was like, you know what? I need to figure out what am I trying to convey when I go out? You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I trying to show people? Because when you're a hip hop artist, you're a walking billboard for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So you have to act accordingly, you know, to whatever is authentic and true to you, right? So I reached out to Chris Hooks. Shout out Chris Hooks. The homie Chris Hooks, we made music back in the day. He moved out to LA, but he plugged me with a creative director. Her name's Lisa, and shout out Lisa. She's part of the tribe too. And we just connected, and I was just like, hey, you know, I'm trying to rebrand, right? Because like I said, I've been through multiple name changes. I'm like, okay, we're doing Tarli, you know, what are we doing, right? Like, and so she came in, she's like, hey, this is what we're trying to do. This is like, you know, this is what I'm trying to do. How do you see it? Here's the music I'm making. Here's some unreleased music, like the future of where I'm trying to go. And she's like, all right, okay, say less. And so she's just like, hey, you know, let me, you know, make this custom design, you know, Carhartt shirt. Okay, cool. That's the one that I was rocking yesterday, right? Even the sweater. She's like, hey, I think you'd be able to rock this with this. You know what I mean? And so I will say that has done so much for my image and how people perceive me, right? And how I'm portrayed just walking around, you know what I'm saying? So there's, once again, intentional. It gives credence
to the name. Yeah. Because the appearance would give the appearance of a successful journey. So it makes perfect sense. Oh, man, that is mind blown. What the? Yo, the wild hey, y'all listen. Will y'all see me on stage in my t-shirt and my sweats? Leave me alone. All I came to do was rap for y'all. I don't want to do nothing else. My journey is not successful.
Get out of here.
I'm out here thugging it, but it's all good.
This dude's out here doing whole tours. Man, I let me just take a moment to salute you, man, because like I got a chance, when we were at the Jamaican spot, to really like learn more about what you guys are doing. And I'm like, yes, I'm glad I met y'all. Like, I'm glad we connect. Shout out Marcel P. Black.
Yes, indeed.
For real. Thank you for the plug. Appreciate it. And I love what y'all are doing.
Real MCs don't rap over vocals, y'all.
Oh, yes. Had to do that.
All the way live. All the way live.
Yeah.
All right, so now let's get to the tribe, because I got an opportunity to hear y'all last night live in the flesh. Oh my God. Yeah, listen, y'all. Y'all know me. I'm a very critical individual. Y'all know I don't like a lot of shit. I talk bad about a whole lot of music. But I will say, the thing that happened last night is the thing that I love to happen.
Yeah.
I love to hear music like on Spotify or something and be like, yeah, this is cool. But then see it live and be like, holy smoke, it's way doper than I even imagined it was. And I will tell you, your recorded music's fine. Seeing y'all live is where it goes beyond the stratosphere. It is amazing.
Thank you.
Shout out to K. I am K. Shout out to Mr. I don't want to get his name wrong.
Graydon
Francis.
Francis.
Mr. Graydon Francis.
Graydon Francis.
Oh my God. Yo.
Hey, shout out to Biddy Evil too.
Yes, shout out to Evil, most definitely. Man, listen. How did you find these people?
Man, each one of them has a different story. So, so I just want to make it clear. There's more folks in the tribe than us four, right? Okay. But we're just talking about the folks that performed last night in St. Paul. So let's start with Graydon. So Graydon, he and I met in high school, right? And we've been homies ever since. We didn't do music right away. I know that he had his own musical journey. He was, and Graydon, don't kill me if I get this wrong, but I think he was trained by one of Prince's backup singers, and then went on to do stuff with BB Zahari from RuPaul's drag show,
no doubt,
and then the Sounds of Blackness, right? There's a bunch of stuff that he did, obviously in between though, but like that's been his trajectory, right? And once again, amazing singer.
Very.
And then from Graydon, we got IMK, because Graydon and IMK we're both in the sounds, right? And that was one of the things too, because I was like, man, it'd be great to have a female vocalist, right? Just to round everything out, right? Absolutely. And so Kay jumped on, shout out IMK, so the newest member. But Mitty and I, we have a very funny meeting connection, right? So I met Mitty on tour, right? So we have mutual friends. I met him on tour. He was touring during his birthday. And I was like, man, that's crazy. You're touring during your birthday. Most people be like, nah, I'm staying home. I'm getting drunk. I'm doing whatever. But I'm like, you're on the road in the middle of nowhere with us. And so really that's kind of where that friendship and that bond started. And so, it's just been, when we talk about successful journey, like picking up people from all, with different skill sets, right?
Yes.
And that's essentially the essence of the tribe, right? Because I think that when you surround yourself with people who have a different skill set and exceed in that skill set, and you bring them in, it's like, ain't no competition. I'm not going to sing listen, I can't tell you how many times people have been like, oh, Graydon sings like Luther Vandross. I don't care how many lessons I take, I ain't going to sing like Luther.
You feel me?
Yeah, I know that. I'm not going to hurt my head. I ain't going to go to sleep crying. It's just not going to happen for me, right? You know what I'm saying? And, and Kay, once again, she has a voice. I can't replicate that, right? Mitty makes beats. Shout out to all the beat makers. I just do not have the mental patience to make beats. Because there's that period where you're like, man, this beat's kind of like lame, and you got to be cool pushing through that.
Yes.
I don't have that. At least not at this point in my life. And so it's just a beautiful thing to be surrounded by extremely talented people doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? And create and then put that out in the world.
You know what? You got me thinking about something. Hey, Sound Chamber, some of y'all gonna get replaced. I need some singers. These other shit. Too many rappers around here. We gotta do something different. But that's beautiful, man. Because I think the beauty in that, to me, is, despite the fact that they met in Sounds of Blackness, what brought them to that point was very different. Mm-hmm. And then your journey towards meeting them was very different. I mean, of course, you and Graydon know each other from high school, but still, the journey of y'all actually coming together to make music was different. And then the way you met Medieval was even more different than all of that. Right. So, but the fact that you all came together, and like when I watched y'all last night, it was like, yo, if I didn't know no better, I would think they've been making the music together for like 10, 12 years. Easy. Mm-hmm. Easy. But I know better. Because I know we talked about it, and I was like, it hasn't been that long.
But technically it has been, because we sat down and actually did the math. Like, Graydon for sure, Nick for sure. K's the newest one. You know what I'm saying? So like, you're on point with that. So it has been a while. It has been a while.
So K is the newest edition. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Yo, listen, y'all. Mr. Graydon Francis, I am K on Instagram. She's K2K, Kaye2, the number 2 Kaye. Trust me. Thank me later. That's all.
And then Mr. Graydon Francis on Instagram. So Mr. Graydon Francis.
Yes.
And then hold on a second. And then Medieval. MIDIEVIL.
Yes. Midi, I promise you, it's not personal, dog. I swear to God, I swear to you, it's not. It's only that you talk with your hands, so sometimes it's hard for me to remember. But like, man, it's amazing, bro.
Thank you.
So from this point, I'm gonna ask you the question I ask everybody. It's always hard for them to answer, and I'm hoping that it's as hard for you to answer as everybody else.
Okay.
Give me your favorite album and song of your own.
Of mine?
Of your own, yes. I always love the look that people give me when I ask that. They be like, "Man, why you ask me that
song?" That's so hard. I feel like I've lived like 4 different lives throughout the groups, right? So that's my problem.
Yes.
Got my head spinning. Okay, I'm gonna keep it recent. So I got to narrow it down. So I'll keep it within the Tarli realm. Man, I think to be honest with you, that Say When song, it's unreleased. Say When is unreleased, but I think that is my favorite song at this point, just because of how everybody came together to use their God-given gift to make that song jump. You know what I'm saying? The one where like Graydon and K were harmonizing and stuff. Like Say When, Midi's on the beat. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a real. And yes, Miss Lisa, she helped us with the music video on that. You know what I'm saying? She helped curate a lot of stuff. We shot that out in LA. So that's that whole experience. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I love that, because that's teamwork. That's unity. That's how things come together. Favorite project? I mean, I'm under the Tarli umbrella. I've only released 2, so I would say Ganta. I would say Ganta, my newest one that just came out. So yeah,
I was just listening to that yesterday. I was listening, for whatever reason, I was listening to the clean version, because you sent me the pack for the tour.
Yeah.
I'm listening to the clean version. I'm like, I'm not even mad. Like, I'm just vibe. I'm cool. Like, I can easily just go to Spotify and listen to the other one, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna just listen to this.
Yeah.
But I think I like listening to clean versions of records, because I get a better understanding of what you meant when I don't hear the profanity. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm saying? That's part of the reason why I don't curse too, because I feel like a lot of times I force myself to have to be more clear when I can't use words as a cheat code. You know what I'm saying? So I can't use a curse word to like fill in this spot. I literally have to say something right.
You do, and, and when you write like that, it does force you to, I would say, up your penmanship. You know what I'm saying? So like I do cuss, but I don't cuss all the time. You know what I mean? And so, but yeah, it does force you to change the way that you write.
Now, don't get me wrong. There's certain times when I want to be like, and fuck that. But I just, you know what I'm saying? I just don't do it. Like, there's plenty of times I want to say it, but I just...
Point delivered. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, bro, I'm trying to tell you. So, I know, okay, so just so y'all know, we're advertising. Y'all know this is Act 1. Right now, we're in St. Paul, Minnesota. We'll be in Duluth tomorrow.
Yep.
And then, on and on from there. But in June, Tarli and the Tribe will be coming out to the West Coast.
Yeah.
To rock out on leg 2 of the Gravitas tour. Now, outside of that, do y'all have any plans like of doing any touring of your own? Are you cooking up something right now?
Yeah, we're cooking up something right now in Kansas, Topeka area right now. It's still in its infancy, so like I haven't really told anybody. No, I didn't told everybody. But so here we are. But so throw it into the universe, right? But that's what we're working on right now. There's a lot of festivals and other like regional things that right now we've applied to that we're just waiting to hear back from as well. A lot of it, and also the other thing about the Tribe that's beautiful is that we work on each other's music. So like for example, I record Kay and Graydon, you know what I'm saying, and work on their singles and help them do the marketing rollouts and do all that stuff too. So like they're all artists within their individual rights.
No doubt.
You get me? So like that last song, Ginger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a group effort too. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was like, because I was making that set list and I was like, I could end it on Feeling Right where everybody's like, hey. But I'm like, but I want people to dance and kind of stick around a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And normally longer than they normally would on a Thursday night. And I was like, okay, let's get Graydon in there. Got the Afrobeat joint. And then Mitty just jumps into his stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so that way everybody, like I said, gets to shine. IMK, she's got some new stuff coming out right now. It's in the mixing phase of it. So I'm excited for her stuff to come out right now. Yeah.
Okay. So, she know what I mean by that. She know what I mean. Yeah, we had a nice long conversation last night outside the club. That was I learned some amazing stuff. She's absolutely phenomenal. Great person. Yeah. Great personality. And very expressive. She was like, dog, you? I was like, no, not me. Not me, you. Yeah. But, so I guess with that, I guess my what, at the end of all of this, say we talking, we went back, of course we're going to stay connected through all this.
Absolutely.
Say 20 years from now, we sitting around, I came out here to St. Paul just to kick it. Yeah. And we just chilling, and I'm like, yo, Tarli, man. At the end of all of this, how you want people to remember you, man?
Man, you have some good questions. I think I want to be remembered as some of that like uplifted folks, right? Music used to get through difficult times. Music used to, challenge the status quo, right? And I think and you know what? And to a degree, I've already done this, right? So, for example, a lot of my music, we talk about immigration and living between two worlds. I can't tell you how many people have come up to me being like, hey, I'm an immigrant too. That shit that you were talking about, people not pronouncing your name and doing all this other stuff. I get that. That's you know what I'm saying? And so things like that, to talk to folks that, I'm saying, like, once again, like, maybe aren't spoken to, or like there's just not topic or conversation about it. Right. That's another part too, so.
Because it's true, because I noticed that a lot of immigrants that move here, as opposed to expressing their truth in regards to, man, I'm not from here, you know what I'm saying? You don't understand what it's like to be they'll try very hard to just emulate what they see.
Assimilate,
just assimilate into that, as opposed to saying, hey, I can do that, but I got a different story to tell. Yeah. And I don't want to tell the same story you tell. Even if we live in the same neighborhood and we see the same thing every day, I still look at it differently because of where I come from.
Exactly. And how in my household, right? Because I remember growing up being like, okay, like my friends wouldn't understand certain cultural things. I'm like, listen, let me draw you a diagram. Here's my house. This is Liberia. Everywhere else is the U.S. You know what I'm saying? And like that's the only way to explain it. Like things do not happen in the same way that Americans would view it. You know what I mean? There's and once again, that's where the two different worlds come in. And I mean, and even talking about assimilation in my journey, it was just like, I remember growing up and my parents, we really didn't like talk about African like culture or heritage. It was a lot of it just came down to like, hey, blend in. You know what I'm saying? That was because I came to America as a refugee, right? So they're like, don't cause waves, being American, you know what I'm saying? All this stuff. I mean, even to the point where I didn't learn my native dialect, right? Because of it. Because they're just like, listen, we just want you to fit in and not have to worry about like, hey, are you from somewhere else? So that's why, remember, so when we were at the Jamaican spot, the OG ran into this Liberian dude who was working there, and I could tell from the accent. I was like, oh, you're Liberian? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm a Liberian too. He looked me up and down and said, you've been here too long. You know what I'm saying? And because of the way I carry myself, he's like, you're doing good for yourself, brother. You're doing good for yourself. You've been here too long. And so, it's for me, back in the day, I used to get upset, like, okay, like I'm not Liberian enough for the Liberians and I'm not black enough for the black folks and I'm just out here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I've learned to embrace that, and that's my truth, right? And I'm going to tell that story.
I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to ask, and last question, but being that you live in Minnesota. Yeah. And it's very similar to Washington from what I'm noticing. The population of black people here that I've seen has been very low.
It's low.
Case in point, I want to put this out there real quick. Last night, which was April 4th. We finished the show at the Rogue Bar. Salute to them. Yo, it was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing. I love that spot. I definitely will come back. But we leave there and we like, let's go grab some food. So, everything's kind of closing down. It's late. But there is one spot that's open. And it's full of people, and they're very jubilant. Man, spot called Wild Bill's. Wild Bill's Saloon. Let me make sure I clarify. So we go inside Wild Bill's Saloon, and let me just say this. You remember back in the 80s when they had all those wild frat party movies, the drunk white people doing wild shit, throwing kegs and all that? That was Wild Bill's last night in 2024. So it was a hockey game last night. Now, see, if I say that, y'all already know where this is going. So we go in Wild Bill's, and I will tell you how drunk the people were. The people were so drunk that every time I turned around and looked at the TV, I had to turn my head back around because some dude was doing some wild gropey shit with his girlfriend. And I was like, bro, come on, you are in public. What is happening right now? I heard Nelly, Hot in Here, but it didn't sound like Hot in Here. Then I heard a country song on the Jagged Edge, Let's Get Married remix beat, and I was done after that. So Tarli looked at me and said, you ain't noticed I'm trying to eat quick so we can get the hell out of here? And I was like, good point, brother. But being that you live in Minnesota, you just said, you made a great point. You said not Liberian enough for the Liberian people because like bro said, the OG was like, yo, you been here too long. And then not black enough for the black people because in my head, especially where I come from, if people heard you talk, they would be like, why you trying to talk like white people? You know what I'm saying? Like, why you talk like a white boy? You know what I'm saying? But how much of a challenge is it to maintain your identity of self and all of that and the connectivity to your personal, to your tribe in the midst of all of this?
My native tribe back in Liberia?
Well, your native tribe in Liberia as well as just the black people that live here. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question. I think I was really insecure when I was younger about it, right? Because I was just like, I just want to fit in and just make it all work out. Now it's just like, people are going to accept me for who I am or they're not. You know what I'm saying? By the way that I talk, by the way I carry myself, by the way I do whatever I do, right? And I think there's more, after time has gone on and a lot more support from friends and once again the tribe. You feel me? It just makes it easier to be like, it's all right.
No doubt. Absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much, bro. And
Thank you.
Y'all make sure y'all check him out. Tarli, Tarli, on all these streaming platforms.
All the streaming platforms, yeah.
Listen to him, check out the videos, check out the music. Make sure you look out for Tarli and the Tribe. Watch out for Mr. Great Aunt Francis. Make sure you look out for IMK. Give a shout out to Medieval as well. Adam J's as well. Like on the whole squad.
Yeah,
like
Jason A-Dubs too. Hey, shout out A-Dubs
as well. Yes.
A-Dubs
too. No doubt, man. A-Dubs was killing it last night. That's
that
was dope. Make sure y'all check him out. If y'all on the West Coast, if you're in Washington, Oregon, California, Salt Lake City, Arizona, whatever, we'll be out there. June, you'll see us. Don't worry. You do not want to miss this, I promise you. Tarli, thank you, brother.
Hey, brother, thank you.
Hey, y'all already know, man. Side Barz, Pantha Politix Network. We in here, dog. One.
Peace.